Okay, solve 2x minus 1 equals 7. This is known as a two-step equation because to solve it, you've got to do 2 steps. Okay, Chris Shaw, do you want to help us with the first step? Okay. Well, you can try, but earlier the pen wasn't working. Try my pen on it and see if it works. No, I don't know what's wrong with it. Have you ever tried writing on the slate before? Have you ever tried writing on this before? You want to try? Don't look at it, okay? Just look at the board the whole time. No, like, yeah, put your paper down, hold the slate in your arm, and then, like, don't ever look down, just look at the board. Okay, first, click on the pen over here. Well, it's not working on there. Here, let me help you. Yeah, right there. Click, right there. A little further to the right. Let me see it a second. Okay, you got it. Okay, remember, don't look down. Just look at the board. Oh, my gosh. Okay, hold on. Now click maximize. Oh, let me fix it. Okay. Okay, hold on. Let me try this pen. See if I can help you out. It was working last week. I don't understand. Okay. First, hover. Just don't touch the board. Hover. Okay, now go up to where you want to be. No. Okay, that's fine. I see what you're doing. I think. Okay, first he's adding 1 because that's inverse operations for minus 1. And then whatever you do to one side, you got to do to the other. And so now what will he have on the left side of the equation? 2x. And what will he have on the right side of the equation? Okay, and don't forget the equal sign. Okay, so that's step 1 of our two-step equation. What's step 2? Divide by 2. And so x equals 4. Okay, and I'll rewrite it in just a second. Good job, Krishad. Take some practice. Okay, so the first thing that he did was notice that to get this minus 1 away from the x, you have to do inverse operations, which is add 1. Now, the reason we do that is because negative 1 plus 1 is 0, so they cancel each other out. Then you have to add 1 on the other side. So now you have 2x on the left, and then it equals 8 on the right. And now our second step is these are touching, which means multiplication. So you divide by 2, and then whatever you do to one side, you do on the other side. Why does the 2 over 2 cancel out? Well, what is 2 divided by 2? 1. And is it necessary to write the 1 beside the x? No. So you just have x equals 4. Give me 1 second. Okay, so far, you, on the very first page, have written Algebra 1 Table of Contents. If you're new today, we'll get you called up, hopefully next period. And then these are the 3 things we've written so far. Page 6 is what we're going to be starting with today, Unit 6, Describing Data. Last week, we worked on the course guide, and you already glued it down. And then we did our goals. We already wrote on the syllabus and glued it down. And then didn't we already write 5 and 6 and glue down the divider? Okay. And then did you already glue down the table of contents on page 7? But you didn't write in it yet. Okay, well let me zoom in so y'all can all see it better. Oh, a little bit more maybe. Okay, go ahead and fill out your Unit 6 table of contents with those things, and then we'll move on. Go. So today, like I said, we're going to be talking mainly about the measures of central tendency, and sometimes they're just called measures of center, like you can see on the foldable that you were given. I'm going to zoom in so that we can see it better. All right, the first measure of center that we're going to be talking about is the median. So up in that top left corner, I don't know why it keeps doing that. You need to write, the median is the middle term. Okay, the median is the middle term of the data. If there are two medians, it is the mean of the two terms. Okay, and if you're not sure what that is, we'll talk more about mean in a few minutes. Okay, now, you can't just look at a set of data and say, oh, that's the middle term, that's the median. There is something you have to do first. The numbers of the data set that you're given must be lined up in order from least to greatest. Now, of course, greatest to least would also work, but that's normally not the way we do it. We normally do least to greatest. Okay, so before you can find the median, the middle number, you have to put the numbers in order from least to greatest. Okay, now over here to the right, you see this list of data in the middle of the foldable. It's like 5 numbers. That's the data that we're going to be working with on this foldable. 84, 72, 84, 80, 90. Now, when y'all go to write in this box, y'all can write, you know, sideways. Like I would write this way since you're able to. But I don't want to have to flip back and forth every time because that'll just get time consuming. So I'm going to be writing like this. But you need to write going this way, okay? All right, so to find the median of that data set, what do I do? Okay, so out of these 5 numbers, which one's the smallest? Correct. And then 80 is the next smallest. And after that, correct. Then another 84 first, remember. And then a 90. Okay, there's only 5 numbers, so that means there is exactly one middle number. And what is that one middle number? 84. So 84 is the median. Okay, the next measure of center that we're going to talk about is mode. Okay, and the mode is the term that appears the most. Yeah, do y'all need me to go back? Anybody? No. Okay, sometimes though you may have no mode. And that's when each term appears the same amount of times. Sometimes you may have more than one mode. Bimodal is when 2 terms appear more than any other term. Each term must appear the same number of times. Okay, so bimodal is when you have 2 modes, 2 terms that appear more than any other. Okay, for the data set that they gave us in the center, what is the mode? Which number occurs the most? Correct. You have an 84 over here and an 84 over there, and the other 3 numbers only appear once, so 84 is the mode. Okay, now I'm going to do another example, but you don't have to write it down. I just want you paying attention, okay? Say that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What is the mode of that data set? Correct. There's no number that occurs more often than the others. What if I now add in another number and I add in a 4? What's the mode now? Correct, because 4 now appears twice, and that's more than the others. What if I now add in a 1? What's the mode? 4 and 1, and that's known as what? Bimodal. Okay, what if I now add in a 3? What is the mode? Correct, because we have 2 1s, we have 2 4s, and we have 2 3s, but that's more than the 2 and the 5, right? Okay, what if I now put in a 2? Now what's the mode? 1, 2, 3, and 4 all repeat, and that's more than the 5 does, correct? So now we have 4 modes. Now what if I throw in a 5? So what's the mode? No mode. We're back to no mode because now none of them repeat more than the others, right? Okay, remember, no mode is when each term appears the same amount of times. You have 2 1s, 2 2s, 2 3s, 2 4s, 2 5s, so we're back to no mode, right? Okay, now the next thing that we're going to talk about, the next measure of central tendency is the mean. Have y'all heard that word before? Okay, the mean is the sum of the terms in a data set divided by the term or the number of terms in that data set. Okay, so the sum of the terms in a data set divided by the number of terms in the data set. What do I mean when I say the sum of the terms? All the numbers combined by what operation? Right. When you add them all up, the answer is the sum. You're going to take that sum and divide it by how many terms there are. This is also known as average. Okay, average and mean are synonyms. They mean the same thing. They're what happens when you add up all the numbers and divide by how many there are. Okay, so when we take the data set that they gave us over here in the middle to find the mean, we need to first add them all up. So go ahead and do that with your calculators. Okay, first add them up. You need a calculator? Okay, I don't think he's in his number desk, so just text him whatever for now. Try again, I didn't get that. What'd y'all get? 410. Is that what you said, Krishad? Is that what you said? No? I thought I heard 406 at first. Okay, 410, and now we divide it by what? 5, and then that gives us a mean of 82. Oh, okay. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and cut and fold it. So let me give out the scissors and the glue sticks and pause the video for a second. Once you fold it and paste it down to page 9, we're now going to start practicing these, and I don't have a picture of what it should look like once it's glued down. But now we're going to start practicing these. So I gave everybody a packet. At the bottom of the packet, go ahead and write your name, and then you can write third period. And you'll notice below that is my blog. So anytime you ever need to go on there and check to see what we did that day, like if you were absent, or rewatch the lesson because you didn't understand, that's how you get to my blog right there, okay? jmath.wordpress.com. It'll be on the front of every packet I give you. Now, once you've written your name and class period on that packet, you can go ahead and turn to page 1, and we're going to try some examples. All right, number 1, the directions say, find the mean, median, and mode of the data sets. Round answers to the nearest hundredth. So 2 places after the decimal point. Now, to find the mean, what do we need to do first? Correct. So go ahead and add up that data that they gave you. 2 plus 7 plus so on. Okay, 64 is the sum of the data. So is that the mean? No, because what else do we have to do? Divide it by 7 because that's how many numbers they gave you. So go ahead and divide that by 7. 9.142. But did it say round to the hundredths? So we will just stop at that 4. What if that number instead of a 2 had been a 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9? What would this have become? A 5. You would have rounded up. But it wasn't. It was below 5, so we keep it as a 4. All right, now we need to find the median. Okay, before you just go looking for the middle number, what do we need to do first? Put them in order from least to greatest. Well, they already are, okay? And since we already know there's an odd amount of data numbers, we know there's 7 of them, we know there's going to be an exact middle. Anytime you have an odd amount of numbers, there's going to be a middle. Anytime you have an even amount of numbers, there's going to be 2 middles that you have to average. So the median is 9. The middle number when the data is in order is 9. Okay, now for mode. It is also 9 because 9 occurs the most. It occurs 2 times and the other ones just occur once. So 9 is your mode. Okay, now I want you to take a second and try mean, median, and mode for number 2. The first thing we're going to do is the mean. What did y'all get when you added up all of those numbers? When you added them up, that's what you got? 298. Okay. And then you divide it by how many numbers there are, and how many numbers were there? 8. Okay, so an even amount of numbers. You need to go and be thinking about that for later for median. And what is 298 divided by 8? 37.25. Okay? And that one terminates to the hundredths place. So you don't have to worry about rounding because it stops at the hundredths place. Okay. All right, median. Okay? Since there are 8 numbers, that means we're going to have 2 numbers splitting the middle, right? And what are those 2 numbers? 26 and what? 38. So, Krishad, tell me what you think you may have done wrong. Right. We first have to put them in order. So, starting with 14 is the lowest. But then after that, the next lowest is what? Oh, well, but they want it to the hundredths place. They want it to be tens hundredths. So they want 2 numbers after. You would only round it if there had been another number here that was 5. You would have made that a 6. But they want you to write at least 2 numbers after the decimal because they said round to the nearest hundredth. Okay, so 14 and then 26, 26, 26. And then after that, right, 338. And right, the 92. Anybody have a special name for that 92? Starts with an O. Out. Out what? Outlier. Outlier. It lies outside the data. See how far away 92 is from the rest of these numbers? That's called an outlier. Okay? Now that we have them in order, now we can find the median. Now what 2 numbers split the middle? 26 and 38. So how do we find the median? Right, both of you are right. So what do you get when you add those 2 numbers up? 64, and then when you divide them by 2, you get 32. Okay, now for mode. Is there a mode, a number that occurs the most? Okay, so since we have 2 numbers that occur the most, what do we call that? Bimodal. Good, bimodal. Okay, now what I want you to do is I want you to try 3, 4, 5, and 6 by yourself. Mean, median, and mode. Is there anybody who would like to try number 3, 4? Okay, Tavis, you want to give it a try?